Ein Heldenleben is, of course, perhaps the epic tone poem that Strauss wrote. It's possible to listen to it on different levels. Obviously, a heroic life or a hero's life, depending on how you translate it, you know right away that it is supposed to tell a kind of story, and when you know a little bit more about it, you realize that the story is about Strauss himself. It's a kind of autobiography, and definitely puts him forward in a sort of positive light as the protagonist. It's actually very sincere, and there's a kind of charm I find in sort of his attempt to tell his story. From a musical standpoint, it's fascinating because you have the obvious characters, himself, his wife. He even manages to put in a very funny wry reference to critics that he's had, difficult receptions that he's received to various pieces. It's a very funny musical moment when it's obvious that these sort of chattering, kind of shallow voices of the critics come through. You really see what he thinks about them, and he definitely puts them in their place. Some of the music in Ein Heldenleben is I think up with the greatest music that Strauss wrote. Of course, as an entire piece, it's an undisputed masterpiece, but I particularly like the sections where he describes his works. There's a section, I forget what the title is. It's the hero's works of peace, or some such title, and he actually takes quotations from earlier pieces that he's written, and it's so amazing the way he integrates these snippets that everybody will recognize, and they're put into this context where you realize just how wonderful they are, and it's even more touching almost than hearing the pieces in their original context, I find, anyway. I also particularly love the very end, when the piece arrives at this unbelievably serene sort of place of peace, and after this huge journey that involves a battle and contending with his wife and whatever his relationship with her must have been. Ultimately, it's such a wonderful picture of all the things that go together in this particular composer's life.